Welcome to Bloodlines SMP, an ultra-hardcore SMP where death is always right around the corner. But when a creator dies, their bloodline will continue, as another creator takes their place. And here we are, in the Bloodlines SMP. And before we get too far, I will admit I had some audio issues during the recording of this. So for example, this first clip, I'm missing the conversation audio between me and Killing, and pretty much the majority of the video I'm missing the game audio, which is unfortunate, but not a whole lot I can do about it right now. And while Killing walks me over to where the Orange Bloodline base is, I'll give a very quick rundown of what the sort of rules are for the SMP, which there aren't a lot of, and I kind of already explained, but very briefly. First things first, this SMP is ultra hardcore, which for those of you who don't know what that means, hardcore is, of course, when you're playing Minecraft and can't respawn, and ultra hardcore basically just means we're also turning off the natural regeneration. So, even if you have full hunger, you won't regenerate health like you normally do. Instead, you have to rely on things like special soup that you can make with oxeye daisies, golden apples, and beacon effects to actually heal your health back. However, if that was all that there was to it, that would pretty much just mean that this SMP was on a time limit, as the 8 starting creators would die off, and that would be the end of it. So, every time a creator dies on this SMP, they pick somebody else to take over for them, to continue their bloodline, and in this case, I am taking on the Orange Bloodline. In the first sort of episode round for the Bloodlines SMP, unfortunately the original person of the Orange Bloodline, I am Neck. I hope I'm saying that right, because names are hard, but yeah, if I said that wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best. But anyway, I am Neck, unfortunately died trying to loot some underwater ruins, and I've been picked to take over for the Orange Bloodline. Also, I know I'm technically the first person to post a video in the Orange Bloodline, but that's mostly just because the first person hasn't been able to get a video out. So, even though I'm the first person to post a video, I am the second member of the Orange Bloodline, and the original will be linked in the description, so still check them out. But yeah, sorry if that's confusing, but that's just what's happening currently. But with me and Killing finally arriving at the Orange base, and Killing gifting me a little bit of healing stew to get started, I can finally get started in this world. And so, with Killing boating back over to his base around the cliffside, I quickly get to work, taking some logs from the chest to make some doors, and then dig a hole into the cliffside to make a little safe area to bunk down in until I can make an actual house. And so, after moving all of my workstations and the chest down into the little hovel that I have, I start thinking about what I'm actually gonna need to actually make a first house. And I also make sure to put the wooden pick away, because I have enough stone to make a stone pickaxe, and I don't want to break this wooden pickaxe because, I mean, it's the first wooden pickaxe, so it's important or something, right? I also place this salmon head in the doorway, I think to help keep things from getting in, but like, I don't think this is actually helpful, just a bit weird. And unfortunately, now we're entering the stage of the video where all the game audio is missing, but hopefully that isn't too big a deal as I start getting ready to get the starting materials I'm gonna need to hopefully survive in this world. Before committing to mining down into the abyss below, I head out to collect some logs to turn into charcoal, as I'm gonna want plenty of torches to light everything up with, as losing even one heart in ultra hardcore is a pretty major loss. Unfortunately, pretty quickly into my mining expedition, I do run into a water cave, which isn't super surprising given where the mine is, but it is still pretty displeasurable. But fortunately, this instance is pretty short. And also, due to my lack of a prevalent food source, I am reminding myself to actually add stair blocks everywhere I can, just to make traversing the mine easier, and so I don't have to use as much stamina jumping up and down these stairs. As you can probably imagine, I'm avoiding pretty much every cave, cause combat doesn't really seem worth it right now. However, as I run into a granite patch, it does give me pause, as granite is something that I do want to use as a pretty prevalent block in my building, because it's one of the few early orange blocks I can get a lot of. Copper I can get, but as it oxidizes into more of a teal, I don't really want to use it too much until I can get a sort of bee farm set up to wax all of it. And yes, before anybody says it, I know granite is not the most orange thing in the world, but it's pretty much the most orange thing I can get easily right now, so it's orange. While mining out the granite patch, and after making 8 more pickaxes after my current ones broke, I take note of the large water cave next to the granite patch and seal it up pretty easily, before also finding a non-water cave under the granite patch, which are really close together now that I think about it, and spot my first hostile mob, and very, very narrowly avoid taking an arrow to the face. But after collecting some more granite, and also a bit more cobblestone, as it's also a handy building material and I do need some of it to make my tools, I do get back to digging down into the mines. While mining down, I stumble across my first gold ore, which normally wouldn't be really worth mentioning, but as has been mentioned multiple times now, this is an ultra hardcore series, which means gold is probably one of the most valuable ores in the game, as it's what you use to make golden apples, and golden apples are probably the best healing source we currently have available to us until we can fight the Wither, and something gives me the feeling that's a long way out. And right under that, I find another granite patch, which should hold plenty to build whatever the first actual build I want to build. Wow, I can't speak well. But after grabbing about as much granite as I think I'll need for the base that I want to build, I return to the surface to smelt some iron so I can finally make myself an iron pickaxe. I also grab myself some more stair blocks to continue improving the mine, as once again, I don't want to waste any stamina until I can have an actual consistent food source. And of course, the first thing I do with that iron pickaxe is mine out that gold vein I found, which is an 8 vein, which is perfect because that's just as much as you need to make a golden apple. And after storing the gold that I managed to pick up, I head back down and begin strip mining around Y7 to A, get more cobble, and B, get more iron, copper, and gold, hopefully. And this mining trip produces 8 iron, 26 redstone, 11 lapis, and 20 coal. But after being in the mines so long, I decide it's finally time to get some wood, as I want to use dark oak in my starter base also. And while cutting down dark oak trees is a bit tedious, it will be necessary. I also take the time to collect some mushrooms while I'm at it, and do my best to gather any apples that drop, as they're used to make golden apples, and we've already stated those value. I hope my deforestation doesn't bother my neighbors, but as it technically makes the area safer, I very much doubt that it will. And while I was deforestating some trees, I lose my first health on the SMP as I get shot by a skeleton that was hiding behind some dark oak trees, kinda proving what I said before about these things being kinda dangerous. Fortunately, it's nothing a couple bowls of soup can't fix, but it did scare me quite a bit. It also means I'm down 2 of the 3 soups that killing gave me to start this off, which isn't ideal, but it's better than running around with 3 less hearts than I should be. And fortunately, the skeleton ends up burning itself to death in the sun, and so I don't actually have to fight it again and can just continue chopping more wood. But a bunch of tree chopping later, I return home to make myself a stone cutter, finally getting ready to actually make all of the materials I need to make my first house. So I begin converting all of the different blocks that I'd collected into the things I actually need. So, grabbing all of the dark oak, I begin turning it into planks, stairs, slabs, trapdoors, fences, and fence gates, and keep a few logs because I'll probably be using a few of those also. However, pretty quickly after that, I pretty quickly decide to head back down to the mines because I'm gonna need some more iron. In this case, because I want to use lanterns in my build, because I just think they look better than torches. And so I'm gonna need a bit more iron than I currently have to make those. Some highlights of this mining expedition include this very close call with a zombie I got in another new cave, and exploring this cave, I block off both ends to start before entering one of those sides to light it up. I almost fall and probably die in this lush cave because of this floating gravel pit, which is not the safest thing in the world, before returning to the other side to light it up also. However, near the end of my exploration it branches out a lot, so I just grab the iron before blocking it back off. And then continue to strip mine, and yeah, everything goes great in that until gravel falls and reveals an ancient city. And I leave instantly because I'm not messing with that. But I managed to return home safely, and being reminded of my own mortality, I decide to make a shield out of one of the iron ingots I got, because it should be helpful in the future, before also making myself my lanterns and copper doors for my house. But with that all set up, and all of the building materials moved up to the build site, I think I'm ready to build the area. And so, I will head over to the time lapse, and I'll see you when we get back. And now with the house built, the last thing to do is to just bring everything from this mine entrance to the actual house. And with the help of the shulker box, moving everything up here proves to not be too difficult, and I get everything up there pretty quickly. The last thing I move up are the workstations, but with those all put in, I'm officially done with the new base, and can look over at it and admire, I guess, the work I've gotten done. It isn't the fanciest base around, but I think it's pretty nice. The dirt on the top of the tower was supposed to be orange wool, but I could not find any sheep, and I figured that would work well enough. I almost replaced it with copper, but I already am having problems with the copper doors oxidizing, so I decided it will be dirt for now. As the actual final touches to this base, or so I thought at the moment, I added the first ever orange banner to this area. Yeah, the same one that was at the starter area, that had like the shulker box and stuff. And also added a sign to mark it as Orange Bloodline, and also something that I made. But after placing the sign down, I decided it would look a little bit better if I had some orange dye to dye the text on it with. So I decide to wander the island a bit to see if I can find some flowers to make orange dye with. First thing I find is an iron golem with an ominous bottle and ominous banner next to it. Curious? I end up walking all the way to spawn and take note of the taxes sign again. Yeah, the same ones I vandalized, and seemingly forgot I vandalized, but don't worry about that. I find some books on the side of a cliff that seem to be for placing the names of people who are in the Bloodlines, and I take the time to write down Lucy TP in the Orange Bloodlines book. But I don't actually find my flowers. Instead, I end up taking a bone that I had in my chest, probably from that skeleton that shot me and burned to death, and bone meal some grass, and eventually I get my flowers that I need for orange dye, so I can run back and dye that sign. That's probably fine. I'm just testing to see if I unbroke my audio routing. Which it should be. It should be unbroken. Yep. I finally fixed the audio routing, so you can now hear the game, and I can actually, show things that I said while I was playing. And also if somebody else is playing, you can hear them too, which will be nice. I decided to spend some of the time that I have while I was testing to make sure my audio was working to light up the island around my house. Because, well, I want it to be as safe as possible. So lighting up this entire coastline should keep me pretty safe from all monsters. And if you're wondering about all the numbers on the ground, I'm just using Mini-HUD to show me where the light levels are. However, while I was lighting up some of the higher up areas, another player joins the server. Valor, of the Lime Green Bloodline, and they just wave over at me. After a little bit of typing, I actually get to talk to somebody and have the audio recordings for it for the first time since joining the SMP, since, like I mentioned before, when I was talking to Killing, I lost all the audio for that, so it is what it is.
Hello.
Well, hello. I see that the voice chat thing is working.
Well, welcome to the server.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a gift.
Oh. Well, thank you.
I also have some of your previous generation's items. I actually found where he died.
Oh, yeah. I think
so, I don't know.
Killing told me about that briefly.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to do like a memorial or anything.
I was thinking
with some
about
of those
doing it later, like making something at the place.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna name, it's a axe, a pickaxe, and a shovel.
Oh.
I'm gonna give them a name. I'm assuming you probably don't have many levels yet.
I've got 13.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I think that's mostly from mining ores because I've been avoiding all mobs.
Well, I guess we're neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like there's a few people around there. Yeah, light blue's down there. Found, I think, Yellow's house up there with the big dirt slab.
Yeah, so that's Yellow and Pink. Raven and Mark are building together.
I see, and then Killer's just around the corner.
Yeah, and then Purple, Star, I don't know where she's ended up building, but she initially built in the cliff that away.
I see.
And then Blue, Q-Boy is at spawn.
Yeah, I did see that little shack with the diamond tax I apparently owe. Found 2 of those already. But I haven't found any diamonds yet. Should we sleep real quick? I did run around putting a lot of torches around, so there shouldn't be too many spawns, at least on this side of the river.
Yeah, the other side, up in the tree line, it's a little dangerous, but it's pretty safe here mostly, but I don't have a bed on me, and there's a lot of iron golems to protect us too.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm assuming there's an iron farm over there, but I have not run into it yet.
So Dice, the previous light blue, built an iron farm kind of in this shack.
I see.
And
it leaked a little.
I think oh, you've got the glowing eyes too. I meant to do it with my green eye, but I haven't done it yet.
Ah, yes.
Cool. Well, do you need anything else? I need to get back to finishing my build.
Yeah, I did see you were building like another building behind that one. It looks like it's coming along nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it done for episode 2.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe these doors oxidized so fast, though. Like, these 2 doors oxidized fully before I was done building it.
Yeah, I need to build a staircase like this in my tower.
Yeah. I made sure to build a lot of extra floors so that if you fall, it doesn't hurt you too bad.
You know, that would have been really smart. I was climbing upstairs in my tower and fell and was on half a heart.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm missing a heart and a half because I fell a few times during construction.
Just gonna steal your bed.
Oh, I see. Oh, do we have the mod that makes it,
the 1-person sleep, yeah.
I see. Well, nice to meet you, neighbor.
Yeah. Well, if you need anything, especially iron, I've got a semi-working iron farm. And if you need to get some like armor or anything, if you want to get...
I was tempted to find one of the iron farms because I'm just running with boots and a shield and I don't feel very protected.
Here. Actually, I've got some in my inventory right now.
Oh, I see.
That should be enough.
How generous. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the server. Should be fun.
I hope so. Hopefully I last a couple episodes.
I'm hoping I last a while too. I made a promise on stream on Monday that if I'm still on this series when I hit 1,000 subscribers, that I'm gonna try to kill a warden.
Oh, we have an ancient city underneath the island that I found.
Yes. Yep. There is. There's a mine shaft off underneath in my mine, and you can see the ancient city from there.
Yeah, I was just tunneling. I have a strip mine just down there, and I accidentally dug like into like the roof of the cave that it's in.
Ooh.
So I've got a good like top-down view on it.
Yeah. So eventually, that's probably what's gonna kill me.
Yeah, I'd believe it. Ancient cities can be kind of scary.
Yeah, I think they're one of the best additions to the game, but definitely scary. Alrighty, well, I need to get back to finishing what I'm doing so I can get a video out this week. All good. All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Farewell. And with that conversation, I can now say with 100% certainty that all of my audio routing errors are in fact fixed. That being said, I might need to sacrifice some of my arm space to put my microphone a little closer to my face while I'm recording in the future, because I was a little quiet there, so sorry if I was a little hard to hear at some points. I did try and turn the volume up as much as I can, but the editor I use has a limit to how high you can turn the volume up, and I hit that, so... And after talking with Valor, I have officially completely forgot that I just got on to check that my audio routing was working and start mining again, wanting to get a bit more stuff, and also wanting to get a couple diamonds to pay those diamond tax boxes I've been seeing around. However, as I'm digging down, I end up triggering a shrieker through the wall as I'm digging down, and I nearly have a heart attack on the spot. And I pretty quickly bar off the lower section of the mines with a block and a sign to be sure I do not go back down there on accident. And so, after striking the deep dark in 2 directions, I decide to start mining again in another direction. This time the exact opposite way that my current mine was going, just so that I don't have to deal with it again, because surely I can't strike it in 3 directions, right? Mining down in this new direction, I end up coming into this nice, lush cave, which, compared to everything else I've found so far, is pretty nice. In fact, even despite the pretty big area, where a lot of it's dark enough to spawn monsters, I actually don't run into any monsters for a good amount of time. As I run around the lush cave, lighting it up to the best of my abilities, as I would like it to stay as mob-free as possible, I do run into a geode, which is nice. I don't know how much I'm going to be using amethyst blocks in my builds, but I like them. And so finding one here is kind of fun. Also in this lush cave, I managed to mine my first diamonds, so turning around so far has turned out to be quite the good idea. I think I also found an iron vein, but I don't feel like digging it all out, so I'm not entirely positive. I find some more gold too, and I put a sign on the geode, just, marking that I found it, and who found it, I guess. After running up to store some items, I return to light up more of the cave, as I want as much of it to be as secure as possible, and the easiest way to do that is to just light everything up. However, as I round this stone pillar, I can once again see the deep dark, so I decide that I don't want to go too close to that. After lighting as close as I'm comfortable to getting to the deep dark, I leave, to look at the other side of the cave, and find a hole down to the ancient city, because of course I did. And while I'm looking at that, this creeper blew up and did a ton of damage to me, leaving me at a pretty risky amount of hearts, so I pretty quickly eat that golden apple that Valor gave to me. And so, now deciding for sure that that is enough caving for me today, especially considering I'm still down a decent amount of health, I decide that I'm finally gonna figure out how to do that taxes thing. So I grab a couple diamonds and anvil that I can make barely out of all the iron that I have, and decide to name a couple diamonds and put them in those chests that I've been seeing around. With those 2 diamonds in hand, I go out to deliver them to the 2 tax chests I found, funny enough, both in front of the blue houses. Also, I'd like to point out now that I did not know during the recording of this, but I since figured out afterwards, that both of these boxes were not made by the houses they were in front of, but instead were made by Valor, and not 2 different people. So, I paid double tax to Valor on accident. However, considering everything, I think I can handle that. Especially also considering the upcoming events. See, I'm a little bit paranoid considering I'm still stuck around half health, and I decide to ask Valor where people have been finding the oxeye daisies for their regen soup, fully intending to travel wherever it is to get some. However, after I let Valor know that I'm down 4.5 hearts, he drops by to give me some daisies.
Hello. Here is...
There was a slight incident with some creepers in the mines.
And a whole bunch of mushroom blocks too.
Thank you. Sorry for being a bother.
No, it's fine. I'm just about done anyway, so I need to add details and then I'm good to go. Yeah. But I'm not too worried about giving some of them. I was debating putting this in Discord, but on stream the other day I went by a patch. I didn't harvest them. There's a whole bunch. There's probably at least 30 oxide daisies in one spot.
I see.
So I'm okay sharing because I know where a bunch more are.
I see. But thank you for the oxide daisy.
Yeah, no problem. If you need any more, I've got plenty.
After talking and taking a little bit to actually eat some soup, I'm now up to only missing half a heart. I saved the rest of the daisies in case of emergency. However, I, a fool, noticed that light blue has some mushrooms in front of their house, and I think that maybe they give suspicious stew. And they do. However, I didn't know that it's a one-time thing per flower. Obviously. So, after accidentally stealing a flower from Blue, I grabbed one of the flowers Valor gave me and fed it to the mushroom I think I stole from. If I was wrong, I'm sorry. And so, with my health all the way up, I think that's about everything I think I need to do for episode 1. However, there's a couple other things that I think I want to do. Eventually I'm gonna want to live somewhere further from water, as from what we've learned in my bloodline, it is untrustworthy. And I do add some texture to the tower floor real quick, because I just feel like it's a little bit bland, I guess. However, the very last thing I want to do this episode is I want to write some basic notes on what I've done so far, and so I need to get myself a book and quill. And so I run a quick gauntlet to find all the different things I need for a book and quill. First, I enter Light Blue's base, hoping to find some villagers to trade with, but none of them have what I'm looking for. Instead, I head over to Valor's tower, locating the villagers there, and trading sticks to the Fletcher to get some emeralds. I head up to the top, finding a librarian who will sell me bookshelves, and I grab one, and leave my remaining emeralds as payment for borrowing Valor's villagers. After that, I return home and make an axe and grab a feather, and after sleeping again, I head to the water to kill a bit of squid. Because, yeah, ink sac is the last thing I need. So, with a book, a feather, and an ink sac, I create a book and quill, and write down some notes on my time here so far. And, with my notes taken, I sign the book and place it in a safe location. And so, with that last little personal project done, I can now officially end the episode. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, and hopefully I'll have plenty more episodes here on the Bloodlines SMP.